Hi, this is Les and Amy from the RevGenetics podcast. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube and now on Spotify, where we do a deep dive on supplements and longevity studies.
Yeah, and today we are looking at a really fascinating new science review about aging.
Right, because, usually when people think about anti-aging, they think of some synthetic drug made in a high-tech lab.
Exactly, but this deep dive is all about our internal pharmacy, like the natural molecules our bodies are already making right now.
Which is such a crazy concept. I mean, you always hear about these everyday molecules like sugars and proteins just being the exhaust from our cells.
Right, just the smoke coming out of the tailpipe after we burn food for energy.
Yeah, exactly. But this review shows they aren't just exhaust. They are actually the hands on the steering wheel, telling our DNA how to behave.
It's a huge shift in how we see biology. If we can understand this internal network, we might be able to slow down aging using our own natural toolkit without the nasty side effects of artificial drugs.
Okay, so to understand this internal pharmacy, we really have to start at the cell's power plant.
Right, the cellular engine.
And the review talks about these natural energy molecules acting like a thermostat, right? Specifically this one called a KG.
Yeah, AKG is amazing. It's a core energy molecule. And if you give extra AKG to a tiny worm, it literally lives 50% longer.
Wait, 50%? That is like a human easily living past 120 just from tweaking one single molecule.
No, it sounds wild.
Uh-huh.
But it works in mice, too. It gives them stronger bones and a much healthier heart as they age.
But how does it actually do that? Like, how does giving the cell more energy protect the engine?
Well, it's kind of a biological trick. It
Okay.
actually does the opposite. It lightly taps the brakes on a tiny energy turbine inside the cell.
Oh, so it turns the energy down.
Exactly. It tricks the body into thinking it's fasting, even when it's eating normally.
Wow, so you get the benefits of a fast without skipping a meal. The cell just starts its natural recycling program to clean things up?
Right. And there is even some early human data. People taking a specific AKG formula for just 7 months actually saw their biological aging clocks roll back a bit.
That is huge.
Yeah.
But, we have to talk about the flip side. Because there's another energy molecule in that exact same cellular engine called OAA.
Ah, yes. OAA. It works wonders in worms, but it completely failed in mice.
And the human trials were just as bad, right? They gave it to Alzheimer's patients hoping to help their brain energy, and it did absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all. They couldn't even find it in their blood afterward.
So why does one energy molecule work miracles and its next-door neighbor completely fails?
It comes down to chemical stability.
Hmm.
OAA is just incredibly fragile. It falls apart almost instantly in the body.
I was thinking about this like a key made of ice. Like, you have the perfect key to unlock brain repair, but it melts in your bloodstream before you can even reach the lock.
That is a perfect analogy. If the molecule melts before it crosses into the brain, it's completely useless.
Which makes sense. And speaking of cellular fuel, we have to mention NAD plus City. It's this super popular energy booster right now.
Yeah, people are spending a fortune on NAD plus supplements. And the theory makes sense. Your natural levels crash as you get older.
But the human trials in this review are, well, kind of underwhelming. People walked a tiny bit further in a walking test, but it didn't really improve their overall health.
And there's some pretty scary safety concerns with taking high doses long term. It has to do with zombie cells.
Oh, right. These are the cells that stop dividing but refuse to die, and they just sit around pumping out toxic, inflammatory junk.
Exactly. And pumping out all that junk takes a lot of energy. So if you flood your system with NAD plus City, you might just be giving those zombie cells the exact fuel they need to cause more damage.
Like putting premium gas into a stolen car?
That is exactly it. You're just helping the bad guys speed away faster. More energy isn't always good.
Which perfectly brings us to the next group of molecules.
Yep.
If that is how the cell gets energy, how does it handle stress?
Right, the stress protectors.
And my favorite one from the paper is this molecule called betaine. I am officially calling this the phantom workout.
The phantom workout, I love that. So betaine is something you find in spinach, but your body also makes it. It acts like a tiny sponge to help cells keep their water balance under stress.
But the crazy part is, when humans exercise, our betaine levels shoot up. But researchers took old mice, didn't make them exercise at all, just gave them betaine.
And it literally mimicked the benefits of hitting the gym. It turned off an inflammation switch in their bodies.
So they kept their muscle mass and got healthier just sitting on the couch.
It's incredible. But, we do have to be careful not to jump the gun. Animal miracles don't always work for humans.
Which is the perfect segue to taurine. I mean, you walk into any gas station, and taurine is in every energy drink marketed as this magic booster.
And the animal data is great. It reduces wrinkles and protects memory in mice.
But the human data is so confusing. The review mentions a 2025 study with over 100 men, and they found absolutely no link between taurine levels and human aging. Are the mice just tricking us?
The mice aren't tricking us. They're just, well, they're mice. We have totally different diets and biology. What acts as a magic shield for a rodent might just turn into expensive urine for a human.
Fair point. Okay, one more stress protector before we move on. Trehalose. This is a type of bug sugar, right?
Yeah, it's a sugar found in insects and plants that helps them survive freezing or completely drying out. Mammals can't even make it.
But when they gave this bug sugar to aging mice, it massively protected their cells from dying. How does that even work if our bodies don't know what it is?
That's the secret. Our cells recognize this weird sugar as a warning sign. It trips an ancient alarm bell, and the cell goes into emergency repair mode.
So we are basically hacking our ancient biological software. That is so cool.
It really is. It shows how interconnected biology is.
And we get to explore the latest science like this, thanks to RevGenetics.
Yeah, they maintain a long-term focus on evidence-based natural compounds for aging research.
Which is awesome because grounding these cellular switches in real science is exactly what we need.
Exactly. We have to look at the actual data.
Okay, so we've been talking about adding all these natural molecules to protect the body, but this review takes a hard left turn here.
Yeah, we're moving into the subtraction game, where the real secret to health might be taking things away.
Right, like this one building block called methionine. It's an amino acid we get from eating protein.
And if you restrict it, if you eat less of it, animals live significantly longer. They get a much younger metabolism.
But why does missing just one protein building block do all of that?
Because your cells have built-in alarms. When methionine drops, the alarms panic. They tell the body to stop growing and instantly switch into a deep repair mode.
Which brings up something I want to call the bodybuilder paradox. Let's talk about BCAAs, those muscle-building proteins.
Oh, BCAAs are huge for growth. They flip the body's main growth switch wide open. They tell your cells that times are good, so build muscle and grow.
Right. You go to any gym and guys are chugging BCA shakes to get huge. But this review says that what makes you look like a Greek god at 20 is actually aging you faster.
It's a biological double-edged sword. Evolution only cares that you grow up strong enough to have kids. So flipping that growth switch is great when you're young.
But nature stops caring about you after that, right?
Pretty much. If you keep slamming that same growth accelerator when you're older, you burn out the engine. It drives insulin issues and fuels those toxic zombie cells we talked about.
So restricting those muscle-building proteins later in life actually increases lifespan. The bodybuilder paradox is real.
Very real. And there's another subtraction trend we have to talk about, the keto diet.
Oh, right, ketones. Your body makes these when you completely stop eating carbs and run purely on fat.
And making ketones naturally, like during a short fast, is great. It's really healthy stress for your cells.
But there is a massive plot twist in the paper. They put mice on a strict, all-you-can-eat keto diet forever, and they actually died sooner.
Yeah, their midlife mortality went up.
Is that because they lose their metabolic flexibility? Like, if they only burn fat forever, do the cell engines just forget how to burn normal sugar?
That's exactly what the researchers think.
Yeah.
The body adapts so hard to fat that it loses the tools for anything else. And eventually, that extreme state becomes toxic. Switching back and forth is healthy, but being locked in one state is deadly.
Such an important warning. Okay, so we've turned down the energy and restricted the growth. Now the cell needs to bring in the cleaning crew, the cellular janitors.
Right, getting rid of the biological trash.
Let's start with spermidine. I am calling this the cellular Marie Kondo.
That is so accurate. Spermidine is a natural molecule that drops as we age. Its whole job is to help the cell bag up damaged junk and throw out the parts that no longer spark joy.
And it works in almost every animal they test, protecting the heart and the brain. But this next one, you have to explain this to me. Hydrogen sulfide.
Ugh, the rotten egg gas.
Literally. You are telling me a toxic gas that smells like a stink bomb can rescue the brain from Alzheimer's. How does a gas even work in the body?
It acts as a ghost transmitter. Most molecules are like keys that need to find a specific keyhole on the outside of a cell. But this gas doesn't need a keyhole. It just ghosts right through the cell wall.
Wow, just straight inside.
Exactly. And in aging mice, it drifted right into their brain cells and chemically stopped the tiny tracks inside the cells from falling apart.
So it kept the brain's train tracks intact. But obviously you don't want to just go inhale smog gas, right?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
The difference between a medicine and a lethal poison there is incredibly tiny.
Good to know. Let's look at another one with a bad reputation. Ceramides. Usually high ceramides mean fatty liver and bad blood tests.
Because they build up with age and cause a lot of internal damage, yes.
But the irony is if you put them on your skin, they actually boost collagen and make you look younger.
It just proves how crazy this network is. What harms your liver might perfectly heal your skin.
And we see that with vitamins, too. Vitamin C reversed aging in monkey brain cells. But when they gave vitamin D3 to humans in a massive multi-year trial...
It basically did nothing for their physical aging.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Looking at the whole picture, the energy thermostat, the phantom workout, the rotten egg gas, it seems like aging isn't just one broken part you can easily replace.
Not at all. It's a deeply connected web. Pushing one button automatically presses 3 others. Your internal pharmacy is powerful, but context is everything.
Right, like those muscle proteins are great at 20, but bad at 60.
Exactly, which is why you shouldn't just run out and take extreme doses of this stuff without a doctor. We have to let the human trials catch up to the mice.
The internal pharmacy is real. We're just still learning how to read the prescriptions, which leaves me with one really crazy thought for you to ponder.
Oh, what's that?
If our bodies already have the exact blueprints to make all these anti-aging molecules, if we can naturally make the AKG and the spermidine to stay young, why did evolution program us to just stop making them as we get older?
That is the ultimate mystery. I mean,
Yeah.
is it just a random glitch over time? Or did nature intentionally put a timer on us, shutting the pharmacy down just to make room for the next generation?
Man, that is definitely something to think about next time you look at a bottle of vitamins. We hope you enjoyed today's exploration of the published science.
Thank you for listening to the RevGenetics podcast.
RevGenetics.com for the best longevity supplements on Earth.